Now his method, he's just going to slide it on over right here. I'll get some shots with my GoPro showing it from this angle. And he's going to make sure the front of the fish is touching the end of the board here. So right here, fish is definitely touching, you can see that. Okay, and now since the front of the fish is touching the front of the board here, the bump, now he's going to position the tail the best he can, which looks like he's kind of got it as far as he can get it. Why don't we slide that tail around, Chris, see if can you get anything else out of this fish? You can see, and you're allowed to do this. You can position that tail. You want to get the most out of your fish, the most possible.
By that little tiny swing,
I
could get a legal 17 1/4 right there if I can get that to show up in the picture.
And now that he knows this fish is potentially 17 1/4, we're going to try to snap a photo that proves that. You don't want to short yourself. If you can't get it, then that's just one thing. So we'll turn on the phone here. Any smartphone should work. So now Chris has snapped his photo, he's locked it in, but before he's going to release the fish, he might investigate the photo and see if he made sure he got one that accurately showed it at 17 1/4 inches, and he makes sure that the front of the fish is touching the board, make sure his hand, as you can see here, is actually behind the eye. You know, he's got it just over the gill plate, so it's not interfering with us being able to judge the fish's nose or lips on the front of the board, and it's obviously not interfering with the tail. So that's one thing we suggest. So you know, if you know you got it, you look at your phone real quick and you know you've got the photo, then go ahead and release the fish. Okay, now we're going to talk about a few wrong ways to measure the fish. Now we're going to look at one wrong way, obviously, could be if the front of the fish is not touching the end of the bump board. So you can clearly see that's wrong. Another thing you could do is you could have your hand over the eye. And Chris's hand right here is it's just too much over the eye. So you want to have it behind basically the gill plate, really. It's perfectly fine for your hand to be in the photo right in the middle. That's where you want it. Another thing you could do is you could take a photo with the head of the fish, the front of this bump board, or the tail cut off. Okay, that's another possibility. You could, as Chris has here, you could forget your identifier. So if that's not in the photo, then that's not going to work either. So you got to have the identifier. Don't forget, that's what shows the fish was caught this day, and that way no one can cheat in these events in this particular way. And the other thing you could do is you could turn the fish the wrong direction. So you could turn it facing the right and upside down. Exactly. So it's upside down here. So essentially, that's wrong. And you could also turn it where the head is facing the end of the board there, flop it over, and that's not correct either. Again, this is all to make sure that no one is able to score the same fish twice. Okay, it always has to be facing to the left. As you're looking down on the fish like Chris and I are, we can go ahead and spin it back over. The belly is facing south, if you will, towards you. Dorsal fins at the top. This really is not that hard, folks. Another thing you don't want to do is have your hand inside the mouth anywhere or inside the gills. So keep your hand out of the gills and out of the mouth. That's also a penalty. Any other ways we can mess this up, Chris, or you know of that people have done?
The only thing, don't make sure that your identifier is not covering the furthest measurement, because then you can't see it.
Exactly. And then make sure you don't take photos from a crazy angle like this. See, we can't see if the fish is touching the front of the bump. And if your photo's over here, we can't see exactly, you know, if it's touching or if it's not, and it's just difficult. So the photo needs to be taken directly above. All right, so the whole concept of this is, you know, catch, measure, photo, release. It's an eco-friendly style.